and that was really fun. Okay, so any questions at this point? No? Okay. All right, I think we're okay with that stage. So, once you have that done, the nuts are all in place, and she's set up for 24 hours, everybody get to see this?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you have. Now, what the hell did?
You can stand in front of the lady and get it.
Yeah, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. This is what you have. And so how are you gonna deal with this? Well, you can't put a tool on it. So I use 50 grit sandpaper that I get from Cleanspool, and I power sand them down to flush. And really, then I think, well, that's one of the things that you gotta be willing to do is work your ass off with sandpaper when you do this. Tools are over with for a while. Excuse my French, you girls in the room, if I offended you, I apologize.
You sand it
I
down
keep thinking I'm in
on the
a
lathe?
gym or something. Yeah. Now, when you get to the inside, it's another ball game. Stay.
So if you hit it with a tool, it'll actually shatter on you?
Yeah.
These things are really brittle. You know, in the beginning, I was trying to figure out how to put a tool on this, not gonna happen. You know,
Even with a sharp carbide?
absolutely. It just can't take that. Now, that being said, if you wanna fool around, well, I think there's a finial on a little, salt box back there I brought. You can take a nut. I love working with walnuts and butternuts in particular, but you can put them point to point and spin them up. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's a walnut right there. And if you put it point to point and spin it real high, 1,500 to 2,000, and touch it with multiple grades on down to, and I had a guy in this club one time, I won't tell you who he was. I said, what about if you use triple auto, quadruple auto? Whoa, well, you can't do that to a piece of wood. You don't hang up in there and be in there, you can't mess with it. You don't want to do that? That's crazy. Well, I decided that he was not right. There are other words you could say, but I'm not going to, because he was that kind of guy. I had some fun with him, but so I go all the way to quadruple aught, and then I burnish. And if you burnish in two directions, just go once one burnish and then come the other way, you create temperatures at the surface of the wood that are exceedingly hot, thousands of degrees. It's all microscopic, but it happens. And so there's no nap left at all on the wood if you burnish right. So you go through that quadruple aught and you hit that burnish, you got something. You'd think it was finished. You'd think there was a coat of finish on it. It's so smooth. And it's really ready to take on a good finish then, you know. And then I'll go right back with quadruple aught once I've got 24 hours going with the finish on it and burnish. And it comes up like, you still get your texture of your wood somehow, but it's just glassy. So that's what all these things have been done, how they've been done. But take this nut and work it up to whatever extent you feel is right. And it reveals this wonderful filigree in there, and you can put a piece of turquoise in it and make a finial out of it. You just backfill it with sawdust and cyano, and it becomes a solid chunk. And you can drill your hole and mount your finial appropriately. So I'll put that through the crowd with you. Thank you, sir. Now this is going to be hell to pay because we don't have any dust retrieval on here, but there's just no choice. Oh, I'll get this right. I did a little quickie demo down here one time on how I deal with sandpaper, because I think it's inordinately expensive. This is a sample of my 50 grit. And I'm not gonna go putting a lot of money on the end of a sander if I can help it. So I have to buy the sandpaper, there's no getting out of that. Sometimes you can find it in a bin over there and get it a little cheaper. But I buy these discs from Eastex, 2-inch. We'll make that 1 7/8. And this is 2. And so I just glue it on the back of that and take a pair of scissors that cost me $1. I buy them by the dozen. And they wear out over time, but you're gonna be surprised how long a pair of scissors will last making your own sanding discs like this. And it turned out it saves me at least 25% of what it costs to sand stuff. So it's worth it, and it takes about 15 seconds.
Julien, I do that too, but I use a diamond hone on my scissors and I never have to throw the scissors.
Well, you need to do a demo and save us how to do that. Dave's doing a demo.
We needed somebody for January.
Yeah, now, you need to get all you can out of Dave. That man's it. So, y'all don't have this, you're like a one-legged squirrel trying to crack a hickory nut. This is our own Jim Terry's invention, and it works. What we want to do is come to fair. You know what that means, right? Who needs a tool? If you don't like sanding, this is not your project. Close enough for blue glass. So now all these nuts are miraculously all but finished. We'll go down all those grades of sandpaper and process on the exterior that I talked about, and it'll be exquisite on this side. Now we got a problem. How are you gonna get all this other wood out of here? And we're gonna do that now. Now, one of the things you have to do is you have to gauge your thickness constantly, and the way I do that is I go between in every hole in the nut, each nut, and I drill a hole through to the center. And that gives me a window into what the thickness is that I'm approaching. every one of them. Because believe it or not, it's a variation. Ooh, I got some things
It's
out.
hot, yeah.
Isn't it funny? I swear to God, I bet it's back in the back of the room.
No, it's,
Now remember, I just said you can't, oops, I need that. You can't use tools on the nut. But we still got wood here. So the objective at this stage is to get this wood as thin as you can without touching the nut. If you touch the nut, it's over. See my handle? I'm proud of that. Osage orange handle, wow. You know what happened was I went, I'm that way. I'm ADDH, DDDH, among other things. And I lost my temper and I broke my handle. And I had to make me a new one. Hope I don't break that one the same way. So what you're looking at here now, of course, is a series of holes where each nut is. And you can go to town on this piece of wood till it's really thin. It has to be turned in the right direction now.
It just takes longer.
Yeah, but have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you know, you were saying and you forgot, oh, and the thing starts to burn. What the hell's wrong? Do I need to start in my duel? No. We don't have a piece of light that goes up in there, do we? Oh, yeah. Something different. Oh, brother. Something different about this band, maybe it'll still work. I don't know. Thank you.
Julien, would you put a light behind it, a strong light behind it, or in the other way?
Well, I just have plenty of LED stuff just down on me.
On it, but if you
These
put a
new
light.
garage lights, I don't know about you guys, but boy, they put some light on you. And so I'm all lit. Yeah, I got to come in from
But a
everywhere.
special light behind it, you might be able to see through the holes or not?
I can anyway. I'm looking through them right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I'm fine like it is. help that tip on it. And I'm being super careful, and I always am, so it takes a lot of time. If you make one mistake at this stage, I got a lot of wood to turn. You blow it up, so you just got to be real careful on it. Anybody know why that's happening?
Shatter.
Like I said, I'm no expert. I just try. I do want to get to this other stage.
Can you move
We're looking good.
move that thing closer to the fence, the rest, put the rest closer to the roof?
No. Bad piece of pull going on. I'm pulling it so deep, I don't think I want to continue trying to take it that way. I knew I did something wrong. I used the wrong nut for the demo. These were the ones I was gonna put in the bowl. Don't make, but it'll work. Thank you. Now.
Sandpaper hits the nuts, it doesn't break the nuts, whereas the tool hits the nuts and shatter. still. Let's see.
I just bought this, I'm gonna take it back. You hear it slowing down?
Yeah.
Damn, brand new. Load is tomorrow. Okay. So, see that? That's a breakthrough. You keep on sanding until this entire trench appears. But at the stage where you see a flake happen to you, you have to really reduce your pressure and be patient, and it gets thinner and thinner and it starts to fly away. And then the filigree just appears like you see on that product over there. And you go through your grits on both sides of the bowl until it's ready to put a finish on it. When you, I'm looking at the time, I'm doing okay on it. So once you've gone through the grits and you've got this, you think I should go ahead and try to make it appear, or we got enough time, or no? You want to see it get down to the nitty gritty?
Yeah. Go for it.
is happening. One thing about this is the drool, but it sure keeps the dust out of it. At home, I've got all my grits in reels, and I just reel it down and do what I'm doing right here, right beside my lathe when I'm having to make a new sanding disc, right there in front of the lathe. So, it's quick. But obviously, right now would be the time to switch down to a 120 grit is my next one, to get it, you know, smoother and smoother and smoother, and get the wood out. Just a little bit of wood that's left is still clean wood on the bottom side. And it'll come out over time. And when you get ready to finish this bowl, you're gonna need a little paintbrush. Be sure to get all the interior, the nuts and the filigree, blow out any crap that's in there, because they want that finish in the filigree of the nut as well, and in the interior of the nut. And the rest of processing the bowl is just like processing any damn bowl. You just got this hollow, filigree to look through, which to me is an exquisite piece of nature that you've taken the time to incorporate into some work, and you don't see it everywhere. In fact, I don't know where else you see that. I haven't seen it anywhere else ever since I made the first one myself. My goal here, look, I'm 80, and I've got a lot of stuff wrong with me, and I ain't long for this world. And I thought that if I could advance the notion, the technique to a set of experts, that it would actually improve, because I'm just a plain old turner, and I'm not all that detail oriented and everything. So some of you guys now can take this process, probably make it a hell of a lot better, and apply it in other ways, that are in your head, and have it work for you. I sure hope that happens. Now look, that one back there has a half a walnut. You don't have to have the whole walnut. You can take that walnut segment, cut it in half, and if you look at that bowl back there, you'll see that's what I did with it. And so you get more out of the nut. I prefer the half walnut to the whole walnut. But then you gotta get into saw and half and all this stuff, but that's a half a walnut. So you get two spaces out of one walnut, and if it's a large enough walnut, bingo, there it is. So, and that's a pretty little piece of wood right there. That bowl's gonna turn into a nice little bowl, because it's got some nice ambrosia in it. But okay, that'll do it. And if anybody needs to ask you some questions about it.
What grade do you go up to?
Sir?
What grade do you go up to?
400, and then I go to triple art or quadruple art stainless steel, and then I burnish, and then I finish, and then I quadruple and burnish again.
What finish do you like to use?
I use polyurethane rub-on polyurethane oil now. There's polyurethane oil and there's polyurethane oil. If you just go get polyurethane oil, it ain't gonna work. Rub-on is essential. It goes down deep into the grain. You push it hard. I mean, you force it into the grain, and then you come back and lather it. So it's really a nice coat. And I put it in the kiln room for 24 hours. And I come back, put it on the lathe, and do the quadruple art and the stain and the burnish. And those are my finishes back there. And I haven't had a complaint out of it yet. It's really durable stuff. Any room for error. But you can saw these things a lot thinner for regular inlay, where you've got a finish and you're filling it. Surely an 1/8 is plenty. And put your turquoise or whatever it is you want to fill it with. I've used fragments of it in work. That is the rhinoceros back there?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at that, there are fragments of nuts in that damn thing, and boy, it's a lot of fun. The Aborigines, they interpret the interior of their animals, and that particular design is from Lascaux, the caves in France, the Paleolithics, drew fantastic versions of the animals they lived with in the caves in Lascaux 35,000 years ago. And I was always enamored with those, so I designed that particular one behind the rhino that is on the walls in Lascaux. It's all exaggerated, but God, it's all rhino, So I use those nuts, incorporate those nuts, and I do a lot of that kind of work with different animals, particularly bears. And it sounds like French fries at McDonald's down in bear country. Manio, I sell my work in a gallery in Manio called the Dare County Arts Council gallery, and it's an astonishingly good, well-run thing. I don't do much work as I used to anymore. I get tired quick.
How many bowls do you think you've made for this technique?
Oh, I bet you I finished 50 or 60 in my time. I don't have but a few though, they go. I get that right, set it down to many, it'll be gone the next day. Tell you the truth, when I juried into that place, had 2 or 3 of them in there, incorporated, and the jury bought them all. To get to the shelf.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's a hard thing to do, as you can see, and you're gonna blow some out in the process. I was just crossing my heart and hoping to die, damn thing didn't blow up on me. It's a little sketchy, that one's a little thin. I had to get to where I wanna be with that, I had to make those nuts real thin, but you look what I started with.
Yeah.
So you take out a lot of wood, and those arcs and the bowl and everything, you gotta have enough in here to sculpt that bowl is you're gonna need those nuts are being sculpted by that sandpaper, power sand. If you break that nut out of there and look at it, it ain't anything like this anymore. It's been shaped fore and aft, plus whatever you do with that to get it to sit in that groove and get a good tight fit so that glue joint is mean. Because you can see, I mean, it's taking a lot of heat and a lot of pressure while you're working with it. You have to ease up on that in the end. When you go to the 120, you don't want to use much pressure and on out. Because you pop a nut out and it's all gone. Boy, when that rim comes off, it's like a shotgun. Bam, boom, stuff everywhere. So,
Those inlays you made with the pieces of nut, and the black, what is it?
Oh, the black.
Epoxy resin?
yeah, no, I hate that stuff.
What is?
It
what
gums
is-
up, I hate heat. When I get a walnut tree and the bark peels off of it, I save it. And I take that machine and put it in a big old plastic bag, heavy duty, and I sand it till I've got a quart of dust. And then I sit, you can call me or email me and I'll try to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you.